Welcome back, viewers, to the PI show. It's that time of the show when we've got Viv's Mailbag, which is brought to us by Kathy Karademus.
Good evening,
back,
Harry,
Kathy.
Tony, viewers. Thank you for having me back.
Welcome back.
Enjoy yourself.
I'm having a ball. It's actually very interesting. And
You learn a
haven't
bit?
we heard a great segment? I've learnt so much from Maria today, so it
What
was
about
great
us?
having. I learn from you every day, so allow someone else to teach me
And
for
Kathy,
once.
you're getting a lot of questions from the viewers.
We are getting so many that unfortunately we can't get to all of them, but please keep writing into thepishow.com. But interestingly enough, the first question that we have today actually has to do with what you were talking about earlier with the glass incident. So it's got to do about being glassed. And I'll just go to that. And it's from Gavin in Armidale, who writes to us. Hi guys, I work as a barman and I work until the early hours of the morning. Very often by the time people come to our bar, they have been to many other places and are quite drunk. I'm often verbally abused by these people and a couple of times have been hit in the face and even glassed. I've had to go to hospital after one of these events. I feel very unsafe at work and was wondering if I have a claim against my employer. Greatly appreciated, Gavin. Gavin, Tony's going to answer this one for you. Take it away, Tony.
I think it's a licensing issue because a lot of these bars and clubs, because of what's been happening in Melbourne, especially in the King Street area and things like that, they've tightened up on how they conduct themselves. I think what's important is that licensees shouldn't allow people that are drunk to come into the premises. That's number one.
It's a breach of a license.
Definitely,
Yes,
that's
license
right.
conditions.
And also it seems to raise issues about security. So I would have thought that Gavin's got a pretty good claim, but in any event, I would have thought you'd want to get out of that environment because it doesn't sound that safe.
Doesn't sound very happy,
these
no.
belligerent type of bar owners, it's not what we want. And quite frankly, they shouldn't be allowing drunk people into the premises in the first place.
It
They
is
should be
definitely
turning
the
them
responsibility
away.
of the management to look after their patrons as well as their staff.
And
So
look, we're cracking down on it. I mean, let's be realistic.
That's
the
right.
Licensing Commission's going to close a few of these places down, Harry.
Yeah, they are, but it's something. Yeah, it's an ongoing problem. I mean, it's the balance between having venues which sell alcohol and how to license and control that.
It's
But
got to be safe.
I think it appears Gavin has already had medical treatment, so he's got prima facie claim for statutory benefits. So
And being glassed in the face sounds to me like a severe disfigurement type scenario. So you think that he's got a
if
common
that's
law
permanent,
claim.
it doesn't say he stopped work, but if it's
No.
if it's
No, that's right.
Well,
if
Harry, you'd
it's-
think a severe cut to the face from glass is, give rise to a common
might
law
be
claim.
wearing a bushy beard and or he might be a 25-year-old.
to summarise,
In
though,
any event, he
Gavin's
should
got
get
a statutory
advice.
benefits
I think he should
claim,
get
so
advice.
Yeah,
that's right.
He's
I'd
got
hazard to
statutory
guess it's
benefits
probably
and
not common
possibly
law.
common law.
Yeah.
at the very least.
If
we
it's a
hope that's
serious
helped
injury.
you, Gavin.
Ring a lawyer, Gavin.
And Tony always helps out there, doesn't he?
Always willing to help.
We'll move on to the next question, which is from Jackie in Montana. To the PI show. My 8-year-old son plays for a local AFL team for kids between the ages of 8 and 15. He often comes home with many scrapes and bruises, and last week I had to take him to the hospital with a fractured wrist. I'm concerned that he is not being properly supervised and that he could suffer even worse injuries. I'm also concerned about him playing with boys that are 15 years of age, as they are much larger and stronger than him. Is the club negligent for allowing older kids to play on the same team as much younger kids? And do I also have a possible claim for not being supervised properly? Thanks, Jackie. Now, Jackie, interesting question. Again, if you missed our segment that Dr. Larkins presented to us 2 weeks ago, please catch it on thepishow.com because he actually touched base on this. But I'll allow Harry and Tony to inform you
Larkins was well
more.
on the point, Harry.
Yeah,
That's
we
right.
had quite an interesting discussion with Dr. Larkins, who's an sports physician, expert on sports injuries, and he says that 50% of injuries, sports injuries, probably are preventable. And one of the issues here would be body types and ages of people,
The size of the child.
That's right.
which is the school. Is it a school sporting event?
No,
Or
it's a local AFL team.
Local AFL team. But look, the supervision issue is important, and I think they should have kids playing in appropriate age groups and body types that are physically suitable. But having said that, AFL is a contact sport and there will be injuries from time to time, look, dare I say, partly depends on the facts of a particular case.
That's right.
Of what the history's been, what actually happened on the day, and knowledge, notice, all these things are terribly important. But
Harry, I don't think it's appropriate that you could have an 8-year-old playing with 15-year-olds. That's outrageous.
it sounds unusual to me, but
Some 15-year-olds have got adult bodies, and an 8-year-old.
well, I think
That's right.
Tim Watson started playing football
Yeah,
at
there you
18,
go.
I think. So,
I think it's totally inappropriate, quite frankly.
sorry, Tim Watson started playing football, I think, when he was 15 years old.
Just short of 16, I think.
Yeah, so, he was an AFL footballer.
Totally inappropriate to have an 8-year-old play with 15-year-olds. I think you should take them out of the club. I think they're totally...
And maybe to a more suitable age group
I just,
club, or at
Yeah.
least
It's not
body
properly
type
run.
for
But
that
look,
matter. That's
you
right.
know, Doc Larkins did say, I think that half
still-
of sports injuries are probably preventable, and another half are just...
Well,
But
that's
Harry,
right.
I wouldn't let an 8-year-old child play against 15
doesn't sound appropriate
It's
to
not
me.
That's right.
No, doesn't sound appropriate to me.
And do you have a claim for lack of supervision? The answer is probably yes. There's other things you've got to look at, the type of injury you get. And,
Well, there is
well,
a duty of
under a
care,
wrongs
so
act and
What happens on a particular day is
Yep.
important, plus Tony raised the Wrongs Act, which is...
you've got those thresholds.
Thresholds.
And plus, because of his age, he's still got until 18.
But maybe
plus
it's also
3 years.
best to speak to the club as well.
Get some
Instead.
advice, because I think you've got some rights there, but take your child out of the club. I think it's not a very suitable environment.
Safer option. Moving on, we've got our last question from Tim in Melton, and he writes to us, "Hi guys, I had a quick question. I have often heard you discuss transport accidents and how they are covered by the TAC. Exactly what kinds of accidents are covered? If someone was riding a bike and knocked me over, would that be considered such an accident? I ask because I have often had close calls with cyclists. Thanks, Tim." Tony, Harry?
Well, the answer is no. It's not not a transport
quite
accident because it's not
simply?
motorised.
It's not motorised.
That's number one.
Right.
You'd hope that the person that hit you is registered with that insurance group. That
Yeah,
covers
there's
cyclists.
some insurance you can have coverage for if you're insured, and also in some cases household insurance covers
Domestic.
Okay.
covers
Sorry,
that.
not domestic. Contents.
Home and contents insurance sometimes covers that situation. But yeah, the short answer, as Tony says, the Transport Accident Act defines what a transport accident is, and it's got to be a motorised vehicle. But it covers trains, trams, motor vehicles in all shapes and sizes that are registered road
In the state of
users.
Victoria.
Yeah,
Harry,
registered in the state of
We have to
Victoria.
wind it up.
I think we're out of time, viewers. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you, Kathy. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you for having
and,
me.
By popular demand, Maria's back next week, so that's something to look forward to. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week for another PI show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
viewers.
Good night.
Good night.